Hello, John.
Mike, long time no talk, man. Great to be with you.
Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. So I'm going to give you first serve here. Give me your assessment of VJ Edgecombe.
You know, the biggest thing, Mike, that NBA people have always told me when they're forecasting college players for the professional level is what they're going to be able to do defensively. I had a former NBA head coach tell me years ago, you are in the NBA who you can guard, and VJ Edgecombe can go into an NBA game tomorrow and guard multiple positions. He's got tremendous bounce. He's got tremendous athleticism. So from that perspective, you're getting one of the most ready-made defenders in the 2025 NBA draft, and a guy who will be able to defend NBA players next season immediately for Philadelphia.
All right, let's look at his offensive game. And I looked at him. I saw him a lot last year. He looked a little wild. He looked a little Ricky Council-ish to me, and didn't shoot the ball that well from three. He was okay. He wasn't bad, but he's great at taking the ball to the basket. Jumps out of the building. Very ferocious when it comes to that. So, how does his game project for offensively for the NBA?
Well, I think the one thing you have to look at, for all intents and purposes, is his percentage wasn't great from three-point range, but he did make a decent volume number of three-point shots for the amount that he put up. He made over 53s last year for a Baylor team that played in the NCAA tournament. So I am always somebody who believes that shooting, once you become a professional, is something that can get better and better because of the time and the repetition that these guys are going to put in. The defensive aspect of stuff is something I think that you always want to have, though, because you know you can come in and affect that way, you know, immediately at the professional level. I understand why there's concerns, but, you know, there's one thing that I think we see people come into in the professional level, and that's their ability to shoot the basketball. Victor Oladipo was obviously not as great of a shooter at Indiana as he's been in the NBA. I think and there's a lot of different instances where people get better at the professional level.
Yeah, and he looks like he's going to be able to put the ball on the floor and get to the basket. He's got that initial step quickness. Now he's been a hype player for a really long time, but so is Ace Bailey, along with Cooper Flagg. They were on that high school circuit, and everybody knew about him. So did the Sixers make the right move by taking him over Ace Bailey, since they really need wings? They have a lot of guards on the roster right now.
There is a known commodity in VJ Edgecombe. There's obviously the belief that he's going to be a rotational guy, maybe as early as next season, and, you know, he's somebody who can be a really, really good pro. But, Mike, I really believe this. I think that if you are looking at the players in the 2025 NBA draft that have the highest long-term ceiling, I think unequivocally it's Cooper Flagg and it's Ace Bailey. Now, this is one thing that I've, been talking about since before the season last year after going to a Rutgers practice. The thing that really inhibited Rutgers wasn't Harper and Bailey. It was the lack of a supporting cast around those two players. Bailey, when you look at his ability to create offense, when you look at his size, when you look at his ability to handle the basketball, there's a little bit of Brandon Miller, there's a little bit of Paul George, and I think one thing that really hurt him was he wasn't playing with the type of supporting cast that somebody like Cooper Flagg was. Cooper Flagg played with two other players, Kaman Malawach and obviously Con Knipple, who were top 10 picks, and another player, Tyrese Proctor, that was drafted. I think the supporting cast around Harper and Bailey really hurt Ace Bailey. I think unequivocally right now, Ace Bailey is one of the top two players in the draft long-term when it comes to overall ceiling.
So it sounds like you would have taken Ace Bailey there instead of VJ.
I think long-term, if you're looking for the biggest upside, I think you're looking at a player in Ace Bailey who down the road, I know there's some ancillary things that are going on now. I'm more focused on the college aspect than what's happening at the NBA level. But I think looking at from his physical attributes, looking at the fact that as most 19-year-olds, are going to do in time, they're going to mature, they're going to become professionals. Once that happens and the light goes on, you're looking at somebody who you could say could be one of the top 3-4 scorers in the NBA.
So the fact that he was a little mopey-dopey about this whole process wouldn't have affected you?
It would not have affected me based on his overall talent. Now, I understand wanting the known commodity in VJ Edgecombe, but I look at Ace Bailey and I see star power. I look at Ace Bailey and I see somebody who can explode offensively like a volcano. There's other things going on that I think, again, once this guy gets to be 22, 23 and has some more life experience, he'll obviously evolve into something else. But you remember me, man. I used to screen your calls, and you used to tell me I need more life experience.
Yeah, I did way back in the day. But look at you now. You're larger than life. I'm glad to have you on as a guest. So let's talk about the other guy who they introduced at the presser today, Janai Broom. A little bit of a surprise because, even though he was a great college player, his game really is hard to project to the NBA. So how do you project it?
Well, I think he's going to be able to go into an NBA rotation and immediately make an impact offensively. He's somebody, again, who is extremely experienced already because, Mike, you have to remember, because of the COVID year in college basketball, the sport got exponentially older because players were staying into their fifth season so much since the pandemic in 2020. And Janai Broom, and I felt this really up until the NCAA tournament, I felt that given the fact that Janai Broom was producing in a league in the SEC that put a record 14 teams into the NCAA tournament, because the level of competition that he was playing against was so superior than what we saw, obviously, Cooper Flagg play against in the ACC until the end of the season, until Broom tapered off a little bit, I thought that Janai Broom should have been the National Player of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, he had great college skills. I'm trying to project at this level. He's like Zach Randolph, and I don't know if there are any Zach Randolphs in the league anymore. I mean, he doesn't have great athleticism. He doesn't jump very well. His vertical was, 24 inches? I think you've got a bit higher vertical than that, right?
But I wouldn't say that. You haven't seen me in a long time. I've built a deep affinity for Peroni.
All right. He passes well out of a double team. I don't know how many double teams he's going to get in the NBA. I just wonder whether he can play the five with as many monsters are in this league to come over and weak side block and all that, whether he's going to be able to do anything offensively in this league.
Well, this is what I can say about Janai Broom. I don't think he's somebody that you can guarantee to be, a potential NBA starter. But I think if you're looking for stability, I think if you're looking for somebody who's going to rebound his position, somebody who can catch the ball at the elbow extended and initiate offense and set the table, I think he's capable of doing it. I think there's obviously the requisites for Janai Broom to be a quality rotation piece for the Sixers.
Okay. Sounds good. Is there anybody that was drafted that you said, boy, they really got a sleeper here? Is there anybody that pops out to you?
It's always interesting to do this because so much of it is about right fit. I think Kasparas Giacochonis going to Miami at 20, the fit with the Miami Heat was a really, really good fit. I like Nick Clifford out of Colorado State, another older player going to Sacramento at 24. Liam McNeely at 29 is a big-time value for somebody who, again, I thought had lottery pick level skills because he's such a great offensive player. And then I think you have to also look at a Deuce Theroux, who's going to wind up, I believe, with the Lakers from Arkansas. Yeah. He was somebody who was hurt late in the year but was a great athlete on the wing for John Calipari. I think he'll be a better pro than he was in college.
All right. Is Con Knipple worth the fourth pick in the draft?
That was a little bit high for me, Mike, and I go back to the defensive aspect of things. Like, I would have taken Ace Bailey or Trey Johnson above Con Knipple, but shooting is obviously a trait that's going to translate level to level in basketball, and that's something, again, that was obviously in high demand.
All right. Jon Rothstein, always a pleasure, brother. Thanks for coming on, and we'll touch base up the road, okay?
Thanks, Mike. Have a great weekend, bud.
All right, there he is, Jon Rothstein, CBS Sports basketball analyst. So he would have taken Ace Bailey, as I would have. Not worried about Ace Bailey being mopey, not wanting to be here, not working out, any of that stuff. Once you get a guy in, what's he going to do? He's got to play. He's got to play to earn money. You got to play to your ability to impress people. You can't mope. You know that once you get settled. There you go. What did you think of that?
Thought it was good. Always great to hear what Rothstein has to say. I mean, obviously, he said that he's assessing him just on the college thing and not on the ancillary thing, which the ancillary thing right now, according to Windhorst, is that there's been minimal contact between the Jazz and Bailey over the last couple days. Yeah. We just played the presser of the two guys.
He's moping. He's hurt. He's butt hurt. He'll get over it. You know, at the end of the day, you're going to play basketball, and you're going to get paid to play basketball.
He will. You get in the way he looks at it. You get paid by 28 other teams. 29 other teams.
Some lines are open now that we can talk to. I want to talk more about the Max Kepler thing. I think a lot of people were unnerved by what he said, and what he said didn't unnerve me that much. We'll talk about it. We'll explain all about it. 610-632-0975. We'll talk some hockey in the 1 o'clock hour. Jason Martinez. The big draft is tonight. Live broadcast. The Flyers leadership and alumni happening tonight at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City. We'll see who Martinez seems to want the Flyers to take, and that's coming up after this.
Hey, guys, thanks for checking out our video. If you want more from the Mike Missanelli Show, somewhere on this screen, there is somewhere where you can hit the playlist. Keep interacting with us.